honest, but the amount of clean, legal cannabis out there is at an all-time low. It's like our water drought. There's none out there, all right? So to be able to keep you competing, which we do great, is we grow organically here, right? No pesticides, no synthetics. People pride themselves on that. So that's something we can easily push. I have a statewide distribution chain that I'm connected with, or I have contracts with, that I can immediately say, Lynette, you have 20 pounds, and you want to send 20 pounds out to us. That's fine. But if she has 100 pounds sitting at home ready to go, she doesn't have to push everything through me. She can use any other distributor she wants. I'm just here with tools. I don't want exclusive contracts with anybody. I don't want to take anyone's royalties. I don't want to barge into anyone's business. There's no way, as a valley, we're going to be producing 1 million pounds a year or 2 million pounds a year to fill up all these dispensaries. There's just no way any of us are going to do that. So there's not going to be really any bottleneck.
Can I ask one more question? So is the value of Cordova Cann to be chemical-free organic? Is that something that you guys will be doing in your
We will be chemical-free. I cannot say that we're going to be organic. And to be honest, not many people can anymore.
Can't say what, I'm missing out.
We will be chemical-free, but we won't be organic with our cultivation of these.
Hello. Oh, I don't know your name. My name's Corey. Hi, Bo. I met you this summer. You're very pleasant. I met your family and all that. That was nice. And I trusted you immediately. I still think I do. I'm in.
Thank you.
I'm trying to figure it out still. But
That's gotta feel good.
I just am inside of my own. So I'm not a grower. I'm just a worker. I've been coming here for 6 years. I'm not even like local. I've just been here each harvest for the last 6 years. I know a lot of the people here just because of that. And just as kind of like a observer to the situation and affected by it too in my own way, I want to feel more confident because I feel, like I said, I met you and I trust you as normal, as we all benefit of the doubt, trust each other, but it's a corporation you're working with. Like, give me more, I feel unsubstantiated in my trust of that. Like, how can you believe or feel trust for 5 years from now or whatever for this? And you're local, so you have a big care for Covelo. I'm not even gonna think that you don't. So you wouldn't have done anything that was gonna bite you in the butt in the end, but I am mistrusting just because of the simple fact of this. I'm confused by that.
Yeah, that's a corporation, I understand that. And that comes with trusting, and that's where my trust comes in. These gentlemen that I've been working with over the past year to do something here, I trust them implicitly. And you guys obviously won't be able to just take my word for it. You guys need to meet them, you need to get to know them. And they're more than willing to do that. They want to come out, they want to be involved with the community. They are back east right now trying to work for us immediately, and they couldn't get out here to this meeting. It was just too short notice.
So you can tell me that the pure motive of your involvement as a longtime local and a good dude, a good father and all that, your pure motive is to bring more benefit as you see fit with this company to this valley. That's your pure motive.
That is
You're not
my
getting
pure
too
motive.
much profit, not much different, just bringing in growers and you're trying to just be a good dude.
I'm not making
That's
any more
exactly
money than I was prior to cultivating.
Uh-huh.
All right, this isn't about a big step in pay for me. This is about making sure this is done right in the community. It's gonna happen. There's already people in town doing it. That's just, we're the ones that hit Facebook first. That's all it was. My motives in this is pure. I have a son that I'm raising here. I want to make a school system better. I want to improve the community, and I want to give Covelo an economy that it can really base its roots off of. Lumber went bad real quick, all right? So we need to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself and we do things correctly for the community here.
Daniel in the back.
Could you just explain more about how you're not organic?
We're just not going to be using organic nutrients. Obviously we'll be using a synthetic line of nutrients for our personal cultivation. Yeah, that's all.
Such as?
It's going in the water.
Heavy 16 nutrients is what we'll be using.
In reference to that, so if organic farmers wanted to have their product processed at your facility, would that be to code?
Yeah.
If you yourself are not processing organic material?
Yeah. We will have separate processing equipment for organic versus any one of the synthetic.
So Bo, I just wanted to say thank you for coming today because your transparency and your honesty shows a big message to everybody here and to the community. And even though you've answered a lot of questions, I'm sure there's gonna be many more the minute we all walk out here and go home tonight, this afternoon. So your offer to bring your, the corporation people here and to open it up even more is certainly welcomed. And I hope that that really happens, because trust is built on transparency, and as you know, it takes a while to build trust, but once it's gone, it's gone. So, it's a fleeting moment, so
No,
I just really want to say thank you.
of
'Cause
course.
your
And
integrity says a lot.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave my email here also, just in case we don't get to everyone's questions here. I'm gonna leave my email that everyone is more than willing to shoot any questions you have to us that I can actually forward on to the other guys also. I will stay in constant contact with Mo here about putting together another meeting when these guys are able to make it out, which is, I'm hoping to be within the next couple weeks.
Maybe we can decide too, is an evening meeting a better time than an afternoon for everyone?
I like afternoon.
Afternoon?
Yeah, so they have to drive at night if possible.
Afternoon?
Yeah.
After the
Yeah.
holidays.
Is there any other questions?
So if possible, I wanted to add two subject matters. So what's going on with the farmers now, as far as I can tell, myself included, it's petrifying out there. This is in regards to you setting up a distro, It's petrifying out there, and the same thing's happening in Washington, Oregon. Farmers are working their friggin' asses off, and at the end of the day, throwing our flowers out there and not getting paid for them. So you're setting up a distributorship. I mean, in my head, all I can think about is setting up a co-op with our own distributorship, so we know the farmers and we're marketing our flowers. So what you're saying can be awesome, as long as we get paid, you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And
That's a huge issue right now.
that's something that's actually gonna set us apart, all right? That's a great thing to bring up. I've been allocated a fund to where I'm able to go out and actually purchase your product instead of just brokering your product,
Yay,
okay?
yay.
So that's already been allocated, that's already been put into contracts, that there is a fund where I can come to anyone's house and say, okay, I wanna take this to our testing site, test it, all right, it's clean. I will come back and say, what do you wanna sell me? All right, this is clean. You say, I wanna sell you 20 pounds. Great, here's your money. I'm not gonna sit there and go net 30, net 60. That's not a good business model, and it creates a lot of distrust. And I don't wanna be sitting on product 8 months later that's brown at that point, or old at that point, that you guys haven't been paid for. That's just
Right.
bad business altogether.
Right. Okay, then my second subject is in regards to the nutrients that you're planning on using. There's different levels of synthetic nutrients out there. So when you're using stuff like Peters and stuff like that, it's got high sodium content. Like, there's states in like Texas and throughout the Midwest that in another 100 years, they're not gonna be able to grow anything. They've dumped so much saline into the ground, and between that and the drought, they're just parching land.
There will be nothing dumped into the ground or reservoir.
Well, you're saying you're using synthetics. It is going in the ground, right?
No. We're not planting into the ground at all. And we're not running on pots on the ground. Everything will be on tables inside of greenhouses. Climate control.
No drainage. You're gonna contain it all. Okay.
Everything will be reclaimed, if there's any left over. With our cultivation model that we've been following, I said out of Palomar, they're having less than 0.5% return come back out of their plants of water after they finish feeding.
Okay, and just point of fact, there's some products out there that are organic based and are plant based, and not even mining or using animal stuff. It's plant based. They can't get, they're based out of Colorado. They're all over the place. They're in Canada and stuff, our extreme technologies, and they got some chops and producing food, and it's basically all plant based, and it's pretty good stuff, so there's different levels, there's different products out there, so that if it ends up in the ground, it's not so bad. I'd be curious to what you're using,
If you want to look into it, it's heavy 16 nutrients.
It's what?
Heavy 16.
Oh,
Why
yeah, it's
not
pretty
organic?
synthetic.
Huh?
Why not organic?
So the company, the Cordova Cann company has actually been involved with creating the heavy 16 nutrients for the last 15 years. So that's just their preferred nutrient. It just comes along kind of with the company.
So that's a subsidiary of the company that you.
No, they don't own it at all. They don't own it at all. all know what current market values are and how they fluctuate, so it could be from one day to the other. And it also depends on if there's a major shortage. If there's a major shortage, obviously the prices are gonna go away for you guys. We're not sitting here trying to take major percentages, and we actually haven't even gone to the percentages of the model of being able to purchase from you.
I don't mean distro, I mean like the stuff that you're growing in your greenhouse.
Uh-huh.
Now that you have this like to scale and you're creating your own nutrients, so won't that drive the cost of the pound down like in Oregon and Colorado and all these other states that became?
Only if we start selling and trying to undersell everybody, and that's not what we're trying to do.
Well, the one thing with that, I think, is that that product you guys are gonna be creating there is gonna be probably good, but it's not gonna compare to our small batch organic stuff anyway.
Agreed.
So that's not a threat to me.
No, I 100% agree. You put out quality stuff.
I had a question about, you saying we're not gonna take major cuts or anything, but it is, a corporation with shareholders, right? So
Yeah.
what legal obligations are there to the shareholders in that entire thing?
I don't have that information.
Okay, so there are, there have to be, I don't know if.
Obviously, there's going to be profits made, yes, of course. I just don't have those exact profits or margins, no. Those are a work in progress, and it's all based off of current market value.
I also want to say thank you very much for being here and all that. And I really I believe in your honesty and want to do a really good thing.
I appreciate that. And everybody, I'm more than willing to talk to anybody at any time. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible with this whole situation. And Taz and Nate and my partners are all wanting to be available to anybody at any time. And obviously, they can't answer the phone every day, so they'd like the questions to go through me. But when they're out here and visiting, they're more than willing to come out here and hold public meetings and answer all the questions you guys have for them.
Yeah, that was my second part of that was, it's great that you're saying all this stuff, but I just don't feel like any of us can really trust this corporation until there's some solid security that you guys are providing, whether that's through legal means or not. But that is something I really want to see us push, and I want this constant communication happening with these other guys that you're working with who own the company, and just hold on to that integrity, because just not even growing organic, that's really worrisome. And I'm sorry, but like, how are you going to really actually contain contaminants? They're everywhere. How do we live in a world where yeast and bacteria, everything is everywhere? Things are going to spread. It's bound to happen. And these were what I was mentioning before about having plans set up already prior to big damages happening. What is the plan if some disaster goes through, such as, I don't know, the cover blows off, or there's a fire, and something spreads, whatever it is. Just making sure that these plans are in place so that we are prepared. It's way better to be prepared than be screwed once it happens.
100%. And it's not just me building this company from my knowledge.
Right.
All right? I believe that real strength in this is getting the people that know what they're doing and the specialists in every single industry, right? And every single factual, like the extraction. When it comes to extraction, we have the experts in that field coming in to train properly and build out property. We have lawyers, we have inspectors coming in to make sure that this is done correctly. We're not going to be doing it in a little barn in the middle of the hills that hopefully somebody doesn't spill something. You know what I mean? This is a professional operation. This isn't someone's backyard building.
Yo-yo and then Rio.
Hi, I'm wondering, I just wanted a little bit more understanding about the distribution network. Like if you're buying, say, pounds from me, are they being packaged under the Cordova label, or is it something you want me to come to you with product already packaged?
It all depends, and that depends on you. If you want to bring your own packaged product in to push your brand, great. If you want us to, we're bringing in professional brand builders. I want to find someone in the Valley who does brand building, who knows how to do the graphic design, all this stuff, to help everyone build exactly what they want. If you want to come in and build an exact brand with your farm, because with the white labeling laws now, a brand has to be tied to a cultivation, okay? There's no more just going around and buying everyone's stuff and putting it in your jar and shipping it out. So if you bring your stuff to me and you say, here's my packaging, I already have it done, great, I can push that out in distribution immediately. If you want us to package it for you and design everything for you, great. Here, do you like that? Yes, everything's compliant, we can ship it out at that point.
Okay.
Hi. Do you have any like projections about how much more you'll need beyond your own ability to produce? Can you give us any, like nowadays we have to sell a couple of 100 pounds to get what we used to sell 50 pounds for. If you guys aren't prepared to be able to sell 200 or 300 pounds of everybody's stuff, you're really not doing shit for anybody, to be honest. And we need you to take into account how many of us there are. You need to give us some, like idea in the future, like how much you can accommodate realistically and how we can maybe gain some value from our own stuff by being able to maybe build my own building but still be able to distribute through you, so I can value add my own stuff, maybe package it. I do have a brand which I'm, currently trying to make happen. Lots of stuff going on, but we need more than just, we need like, let's sit down and let's develop some like real numbers. You give us some real numbers, because all this is bullshit if you can't like say, hey dude, every one of you needs to sell 100 pounds minimum at $1,000 a pound after the fucking taxes, after this, that, and the other thing, to really make, an impact on each person. So there's that. Also, I find it a little disingenuous that a lot of us have been, going through this legal process, me now, for 3 years. Now, I'm just hearing rumors, but there's just, there's these people that have just been hiding in the background, not doing anything, and then some of us have been like throwing it all out there for years, paying shit tons of money, going through hell. How did you pick the people that you chose to get this crucial fucking plum ass position while the rest of us are sitting around just fucking making it? How did that happen? Why didn't, where was the meeting that said come down and here's your opportunity to sign up for this good thing? Because, I'm about to go under too, and I'm just doing the best I can. I just want to know why some people who haven't done their due diligence for the last year are basically getting rewarded at the end of the day. So that's just more I know.
So
It's just, I'm just, whatever, but I chose my path and you chose your path. I'm just a little disappointed.
So, sorry, no, I had that there.
I was also born here, class of 92. I know what's going on.
Yeah, I was born here also. And saying that I haven't been putting my due diligence is a little unfair, because I have been cultivating. I have been struggling.
I didn't say that. I just said, how did the people that get this plum position, and it wasn't advertised, it wasn't shown to anybody, how did these people get picked?
What people are you talking
yeah,
about?
The 10 people that are the permits for these guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't people that have already gotten permits? I've got 2 state licenses coming. No one's coming to me saying, hey, I want to help you out.
Are you talking about the company coming to you and saying that?
Yeah, for example. I'm just curious why.
Okay, so as I spoke earlier, this business is built off of relationships. I went around to people that I trust personally and asked them and presented them. And I didn't say, hey, you have to do this, I need to get this done. I presented them the opportunity, and they made their own choice to say, yes, I'm on board. And we have had communications before, and I've had wanted to speak with you about this. It's just, things happen. I've been really engulfed in this. I've been very unavailable because I've been so busy with this. And it's a lot of work.
I guess just some of my concern is that some of us are actually holding permits and licenses, and the rumor suggests that some of the people you're working with don't, and that the only reason they're going to be able to do that is because your lawyers and your team are going to be able to just push it through, which is not, I'm not upset at you guys for that. That's clearly a smart thing to do. I'm upset at the county of Mendocino for extending the window, which I knew when we put our asses on the line 2 years ago, when they promised us that the window would be closed and give us an opportunity to benefit from this. Now people that have been sitting back, afraid, and now have financial support to do this are being rewarded for this. I'm not upset at you or Cordova Cann for that. I'm just disappointed in general because, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Some of us are,
And
suggested, are just going to get steamrolled.
I understand.
Especially if you can't, like, you're not gonna be able to save everybody, you know?
No.
Like, I'm sure of that, so.
Yeah, and we all understand that. We're all understand. I'm not going to be able to save everybody, and I'm not trying to save everybody. I'm trying to give people the tools to try and help themselves. Right? What we're doing falls nothing under phase 1. Everything we've done is phase 2, and it has nothing. They opened phase 2 January 1st of last year. Everything we're doing is on the industrial. We're not cultivating at all on the ag land until 2020, if they even allow us to at that point. So it's a risk that we're trying to take because, yeah, we want to be able to cultivate, but we know we're not going to be able to over there. So everything we're doing is in line with phase 2. It has nothing to do with the people that have been trying to get in on phase 1 for years.
Joe, and then TJ.
I just want to say what I personally has about the cultural shift in this town. You know, I think maybe some more of us are thinking the same thing. Their schedules, whoever's working for you, are now going to be going from their own schedule that they were doing on their way, their time, their life, with their loved ones or kids or their connections. Now it's a corporate situation where all that's defined, their schedule is defined, and therefore I think their freedom is reduced. It's not your fault, I don't hold it against you personally. It's just, you know, it's the way of the machine. The machine was more out there, now it's more in here.
So yes, and I agree with you on both ends. There's a gray area in there because there is, when it comes to manufacturing, there is 3 shifts a day. So if somebody doesn't want to work an 8 to 5, they can work it later on. I am here to make sure that everyone can continue what they're doing while still continuing to make a living. You know what I mean? And we're more than willing to work with anybody on their schedule to make sure they're still able to do what they can do and still enjoy their life, because that's what this is about. I understand we have a massive culture here that we all love, and we need to make sure that's protected, and that's what this is about. If people have suggestions on how we want to do that, please give them to me. I want to bring all these suggestions to the people, and they're more of, what do you need to get this project done and get it done. They've given me the ability to really mold this how we want to mold it as a community.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to Rio. I mean, we've been jumping through these hoops for the last 2.5, 3 years also, and it hasn't mattered. I mean, the whole phase 1, phase 2, from what I've seen, I mean, just my neighbors, those guys, they're from San Jose. They never, you know, just because the guy they bought it from had proof of prior, they use that so that they can throw in their greenhouses and start blowing it out. I'm talking to guys that are looking at buying stuff that are on another neighborhood. Those guys are from New Jersey, and they don't seem worried about proof of prior or any of that at all. And then, I mean, the reality is, by the time you build out, it's probably going to be 2020, so none of it will even matter anyways, right? But.
And to dispel one more rumor, I have not gone around and purchased any permits from anybody. Okay, we're not looking to purchase permits from people, or trying to shove people out. That's just a rumor, that is not us.
The man in the back.
I just wanted to ask you about the county ordinances. Like this gentleman was talking about how he got his permits and his licenses already, you know, and then what the state tells you, when you get your local government to give you your license, you can then go to the state. Now, the Mendo ordinance, I don't know, does it say that you can do this kind of a project without them amending the ordinance? Do you need any of that to happen for you?
No. We follow every ordinance they put out. We're not trying to adjust anything.
I don't know what it says about the size of what the project is. And then the only other comment that I got is when you're talking about developing the company from within, okay, maybe it would have been a good idea to talk to everybody about how you want to unfold the company from within instead of bringing the outside in to help you do that. You might have had a little bit more proactive support for you. I think it's a great idea. I think you're missing a couple elements on the business end of stuff, and I'd like to talk to you myself later. But when the community comes together, it means a lot. And you got a couple communities. The tribal community is the biggest.
I understand that one.
And so the tribe has major advantages that the rest of the community won't. because of their sovereignty, because of their own government, see? So that might be a good approach. They need some help too.
Yeah, and this being at the beginning and the infancy stages of where we're at, and now with that, everyone's kind of getting an understanding of how this is coming together. I want to meet with the tribe. I want to meet with every single one of you to take your suggestions on how we can build this together. And I feel like I keep repeating myself, but that's what this is based on, is building this as a community. All right, I'm giving the tools to the community to be able to do what they need to do to continue on our way of life. All right, and this is not only just because I want to do something cool. This hits home for me. Some of my family, my mother directly, cannot cultivate anymore. She's been doing that since the 70s. That's what she's lived off of. Everyone knows who she is and how good a grower she is. She can't do that anymore because of an overlay. All right, so
we have so much, let's just say, leftover after you process stuff, right, from all the growers in the community. What happens to that excess? Not second cut or third cut. I'm talking about stalks and roots and all this dry product. It becomes a component of forestation, if you would, to the existing forestation. I heard a gentleman talk about the forest and stuff like that. Where's all that stuff going? One of the biggest projects on the table under the president is to help the environment take all that stuff out of the Mendocino National Forest. Process it here, if you could. Biofuels, okay, clean energy, put people to work, give them jobs, on and on, similar to what you're talking about.
yeah.
So if you're able to do this, maybe you assist with that.
Yeah, and there's ideas that we can really bring to the table and help combine. There are, and they're more than willing to sit down and talk about any idea we want. And is it possible? Everything is possible. All right, so there is an opportunity to work hand in hand on doing things like that. Yeah.
I was thinking, as we're talking about this, like having another meeting where we come together and start brainstorming ideas of like the vision that we want to see for this company and how it can interact with us as community members. And then invite your team to come here and we can have a really professional dialogue where we're all organized with our thoughts and have collaborated on that. So I'm opening that up to everyone if we're interested in hosting another meeting at some point. Holidays are coming and stuff, so we're gonna have to figure out the schedule with the Library Commons being available, but I'll put this out to the Covelo Cannabis Advocacy Group page. I think that's kind of the best way at this point to get information out, and we can put a flyer up. Does that feel good to everyone? Because it feels good to me. So,
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, of course.
I think you said it, but it's gonna bug me all night if I don't ask you again, but, you said the manufacturing that you guys are gonna have like a zone that's processing like this, your guys' stuff, but you'll have something that's not touched by that for people's organic stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I will have separate processing equipment for organic versus synthetic.
Okay.
And everything will be tested before it hits any machines, because if anything that's ever dirty hits a machine,
Right.
just the cleaning process alone is monumental. So there will never be dirty stuff thrown through our machines.
I think we're getting probably close to our time. Probably exceeded.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, I want to thank everyone for coming today to hear about what's going on. And Bo's going to write his email if anyone wants to personally connect with him. And I just love this community, and I think we're all amazing. And I think this is the way we build things, is by coming together and having communication and dialogue and sticking together and have a common vision. I think that's the only way we're all going to succeed in this. So I think it's important. And like we know, like there's companies that are going to come in whether we like it or not. So like I want to see us create the vision we want to see and not be stuck in fear of what we don't want to create, but let's vision what we want to create and let's move with that. So
Yeah, I have this directly to me.
So I would ask these guys if they're not genetically modifying stuff, and also the 4-acre greenhouse thing, like just to really remind them that what they're putting out there in the media, hundreds of thousands, we're all taking it very seriously, and they should probably revisit their website if they're not genetically modifying
And I will bring that up to them tonight.
and also that they're not located in Humboldt.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't buy that.
So there was an initial deal happening in Humboldt that fell through, and that's why it just hasn't been updated on the website. So I will bring that up also.
And I think our next meeting here is going to be on the 21st, right before Christmas, and then we won't be reconvening until January because we have a holiday craft fair happening 2 Fridays. This Friday, and then in 2 weeks. So I'll post updates on our next meeting, and if we need to hold a special meeting in between, I'll put an announcement about that. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
One more thing. I do expect an influx of questions and emails, so please be patient. Give me 2 days to get back to you if possible, because I do have a lot I'm going to have to get
Thank you
through.
both for coming.
Of course. No, thank you for having me.